What's happening, Reds? Welcome back to the show. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast. We bring you each and every week, each and every day, whatever it might be between shorts and content and all the rest of it. But if you can drop over there, it's the upper tier is the channel. Hit that bell notification button, hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video, share the content, grow the community, all that good stuff. Tonight we're back. We have a Tottenham versus Liverpool preview. Massive game this weekend. Let us know your thoughts if you're in the comments. Let us know what you think about this one. This is a big one, isn't it? This is a kind of a, dare I say, a litmus test. This is one that's going to kind of give us an idea. Are we going to get into a top four race, or are we going to potentially be in a title race? Let us know, Reds, your thoughts on that, of course. We're going to be taking a look at the gaffer. He had his press conference today. We'll go through some of that and have a bit of chat about that. We're going to look at the two potential lineups. We're even going to have a little quote there from Ange, who seems to be endearing himself to the Premier League. That's for sure. Tottenham have had a fantastic start to the season, um, picking up a huge result last week against Arsenal, getting that draw at the Emirates, and with more time and a little bit more luck, probably could have went on and won. So it just goes to show the turnaround that Ange is doing there. And in the face of having injuries and all that kind of stuff, he's doing absolute brilliant work. And again, it's an interesting dynamic at the moment between managers at the minute in the Premier League. A lot of managers who have injuries there are just kind of getting on with it, not wholly focusing on it, and a lot of managers are kind of focusing on a lot. And let us know your thoughts on all these injuries as well. That the list of injuries through the Premier League is absolutely massive, especially for the top teams at the moment. Some of those teams at the moment just have lists of injuries. But I dare say, like I said last season, we started last season with 11 first team injuries, and we were told, hey, Liverpool, get on with it. So that's all I can say. Listen, figure it out. Most of these teams have spent millions and millions and millions, and some have spent billions. Figure it out. Let's get into the chat. The Reds are in there already. Daz is in nice and early. What's the crack, Niall? All good, Daz. Fairly pumped up and excited about this game coming up tomorrow evening at 5:30. And Eno's in. What's the crack, Niall? All good, Eno. All good. Can't wait for this. Right, let's get in and have a chat about the gaffer did his presser today. Yeah, gotta put him up there. Looking fresh. I am feeling fresh as well. Thanks for that, my friend. Daz is in. Is Trent available? We'll go through it in the team news, Daz. But as far as I know, he's back training with the team. He's had 2 days training. But the gaffer didn't sound like he was in a hurry to change Joe Gomez out. And we know that Joe over the last number of games has been performing pretty well and looked pretty good. So probably no rush. This may or may not be the game to switch Trent back into. But let's see. Who knows? Might be able to spring him from the bench in case we need him and stuff like that. But let's see what the gaffer's thoughts are. We go down through it and stuff like that. But as far as I know, injury-wise, we're talking Thiago. Stefan has picked up some sort of a calf knock, a slight knock, Jurgen was saying, but it won't keep him out too long. And Connor Bradley, they're kind of the main ones at the moment. Everyone else is more or less available. So reasonably strong in that area, and we've done well this season. In fairness, we've gotten through, not carrying too many injuries and stuff like that. We've been kind of lucky, touch wood, and hopefully that continues. So let's get into the gaffer's presser. He was asked on whether he is surprised at how quickly his team have found form. I think we've all been surprised, and I think that's a fair comment because no one expected our midfield to just settle in the way it did. It's just, we even have rival fans and rival content creators talking about what a job we've done in that area and stuff like that. So he says, yes, because I don't have time frames for this kind of thing or a schedule when I think it should be. But the Premier League is the Premier League. We had a good pre-season, a long pre-season with a lot of players together. That was the main reason that we could work for a long time together. That helped definitely in getting results in moments when maybe recently or in previous years, things would have gone the other way. Helped as well to grow together. Individually, the quality of the boys is really good. The potential is outstanding. Attitude good. So it means a good chance for quality. The group is open for new things. Now, some of those comments are sometimes interesting, aren't they? The group is open for new things. Does that mean the previous group that he changed to? somewhat wasn't open for new things. How do we read into this? Because we know he likes to send sometimes these little kind of subtle messages, you know what I mean? And we could see some of the things he's been saying. Hendo and the ex-boys and all have been kind of taking a bit of offense to and stuff like that. We called it a new start. This year's year one for this team. I know these are only words, but we live it. We gave ourselves a chance to create a basis and use it, and not constantly comparing with other teams. Even when we were involved in that from recent years, when we won things or not, that's not about that. You never win things because you won it before. If at all you win it, it's because you are now good enough, and we don't know how good we are. We don't know how stable it all is, but we all see as well that there are good moments in the games, and that's what we want to increase. That's a really, really good summary. I like the way he's thinking there and stuff like that. And it's an interesting one as well. And I think there he's talking also about how some of this mentality is starting to return, which I think is really, really cool and really, really important. So I like the way he's focusing on that as well. Like he's probably alluding there to like last year when we kind of went 1-0 down in games, we just kind of capitulated, you know. Whereas this year, even if we go 1-0 down, and I'm not saying that's what we want to do, and certainly not what we want to do tomorrow, but if we go 1-0 down, we're kind of showing that we have the mentality, that we keep to our plan, and that we can get back into games and have the mentality to turn it around. We've done it a lot this season already. Not necessarily something we want to be doing, and certainly not something we want to be doing tomorrow. Then he was asked on whether he has been as impressed as supporters by Dominic Szoboszlai since his arrival. It's mad, isn't it? And I said it on a couple of shows, Reds, didn't I? Like, we're just coasting under the radar there, nice and relaxed. We don't necessarily want anyone talking about us. We're just going about our business in a nice way. Let's see where we are, maybe 10, 12 games in. Then let's see if people start talking about us. But it's really cool. So much stuff going on at Arsenal, at City, at United, at Chelsea. That kind of, we're just flying under the radar at the moment, because if you look at most of the football news and content being created out there, it's surrounding all them and the issues that they're facing and everything else. I am impressed as well. It's clear. I didn't know him. I knew him as a footballer, but not as a person before. The boy is impressive, is really smart, is really nice. Now, this is where we're going to talk about this, and I spoke about this about Szoboszlai in a couple of shows already. If you look at his social media and stuff like that, gives you a real idea of the character of the guy. And Klopp is he sees this as being so important. Your character and, you know, how you present yourself and your mentality of going into things and all, apart from your football knowledge and all that kind of stuff. A really good lad, is close with everybody. You have these people who come into the room and click with everybody. He has that charisma, or however you want to call it. He was in the team in an instant, that's clear, and was so happy to come here. It was really nice to see it. It was really nice to see how much it meant to him, and that's it. If that's the mood you are in yourself, then obviously it's a good situation to play your best football. So he's saying if you're that kind of character and you're in that kind of mindset and you're that driven and you're that engrossed in the club, let's say, in that short period of time and stuff like that, you're only gonna get better and better and better, and it'll show on the pitch. And he's absolutely outstanding, outstanding. Long may it continue. Um, that's what he did pretty much from the beginning. He's a natural fit boy, endurance, talent, learned that really quick, and all the rest we learned step by step about each other. He never played the position he's playing for us now in that way. He even played for us in a double six, which he definitely never played. But we learned together where it can go. That's it. It's like it is with the other boys, but it's a real joy to work with him. That's it. That's massive praise from the gaffer, isn't it? Like, if you go back through that even sentence for sentence, could he be any happier to be training and using and playing and to have Dominic Szoboszlai as a Liverpool player? I don't know. I think the only time I've heard him speak like this, and I know he has spoke like this about Sadio, certainly spoke like this about Bobby, certainly spoke like this about Mo, you know, but this is high praise. This is a guy. What are we now? 6 games in? 6 games into his Liverpool career in terms of the league. This is what's being spoken about. And he's going to develop, especially under Jurgen Klopp, and he's going to be absolutely outrageous. Daz is in the comments. You did, Noel. I did, Daz. It's incredible to see it, and you can see it even after the games and all. He goes over them. You can see that, isn't it? Yeah, and Ian's in, of course. Big shout to him. Yeah, absolutely. On whether the Tottenham game can be a marker for this team, especially with aims of Champions League football, I'd go one further than that. Before we take the manager's comments, not only is this a marker in terms of Champions League football, which of course we're also disappointed not to be in this season, not to be in the Europa League, but I think it's also a marker in terms of, can we 7, 8, 9, 10 games in be in and around City to create a title race, or is that gap just going to open up? Um, so that's what we need to be clear on. So his comments on that was, Tottenham is not in European football at all. Chelsea is not in European football. So two heavyweights are not in European football and having the whole week to train when others travel and stuff like this. Not only us, all the others. So it's a massive advantage. So getting into the Champions League will be massive and a difficult task this year because of well-rested big animals. So he's talking about, like, if you look at this week, even where Tottenham weren't even in the Carabao Cup, they got knocked out in the previous round. So Ange has had a whole week to prepare his team for this match, whereas we took on Leicester during the week. Now, I know there was sort of kind of wholesale changes there and stuff like that, and a couple of players needed to be brought on to hammer it home, like. But still, you're in the mode of getting ready for that game, and then you're moving to the Thursday or whatever it is to get ready for the next game. So it's always really important. I don't know if it will be a marker, but the performances is important. It's as important to understand where we are. Yes, would I take each performance if it means 3 points to us? Yeah, but it wouldn't give me an indication to where we are in our development. I have to see the game and then I know what I can make of it. I don't know it beforehand. We all know there will be dips and stuff like this. There will be difficult moments. That's what I say. I don't know how stable we are. We are not stable. We are not stable. Our start in a game is not great. It's not great. We show we can adapt. We show we learn in the game. We show we use halftime pretty well. But it's not that our meeting before the game is useless. And then at halftime, finally, we can find the right words. It's not like that. I think we are better prepared than we look sometimes. There's a lot of work to do, and it is a long, long road. And Tottenham is a tough game. It's a tough week with Tottenham away, then Union at home, and Brighton away. It's a tough week. So if we want these are all tests clear, but it's better to go in these kind of games and these kind of tests with good results in your bag than with bad results in your bag, because it just feels better. Now let's see what we can make. Yeah, big game coming up, of course. Massive game coming up. Where are we? Big shout out to Morris. Big shout out to Morris. Absolutely. And Daz is in. Jamie is live at 9. Oh, yeah, I'll check out Jamie's. I was checking out the show there the other day and all that. Yeah, excellent stuff. So yeah, that's an interesting one. He says, like, it is tough. There's a lot of tough games coming up and stuff like that, and we're very busy at the moment, being involved in everything still. But we have to show we can adapt. And I like the way he was talking about adapting. You know, like at half time, he's willing to make changes. You know, he's willing to adjust formations. He's become so flexible himself this season as well. If you look at him, we spoke about that on shows as well, about how he's beginning to start to do some of the right things in those moments rather than, let's stick with it and give it a go. And then we kind of run out of time and stuff like that and all. So there's good to see that flexibility there with himself and Pep Linders and the work they're doing there during the half. He's alluding to the fact that we don't really start games really well. And we know that Tottenham are going to come out of the blocks tomorrow like a bat out of hell, basically. And we're probably going to have to withstand, I'd say, maybe 10 to 15 minutes of pressure and then come into the game and do what we need to do to impose ourselves on it. So it's really, really important. And I know we say this every preview. It's really, really important to start strong with whole possession, try and control the game, dampen down the crowd, withstand whatever they throw at us in that 15 minutes, counter when we can, and play within our game, not their game. If they impose their game on us, we know how dangerous they are. And we will be looking at their lineup and picking out some of the things involved in that. On Wataru Endo's performance against Leicester, it was not a surprise because that is how he is training. I've said before, he is already there in training. I was not too happy with the way I described the situation with his politeness. Yeah, so this is the comments that he made that we spoke about on the show, that maybe he thinks he's a bit too nice. Being a number six, you need to be a killer, you need to be a destroyer. You know what I mean? But he's just a bit too nice. But if you are not native, it makes life really difficult sometimes, even when you all think I am here 8 years and should maybe speak better English. So he was probably making the point that way he described it at that point, he described it maybe a little bit wrong. Maybe he was trying to portray maybe that Endo was a bit soft, when that's clearly probably not the case. Then you have the others who come in, look left and right, and think, let's have a look first. And that says nothing about this person. It is just a character, but both can succeed. It is just different timescales. Now we have two new players with Dom and Maka who just step in, and hello, here we are. A bit later, Ryan came in, obviously, who was doing pretty well as well. Then you have a fourth one, and people say, I'm not really sure, but if we don't give people time anymore, then what kind of world is that? I was not surprised, because that's how he trains. It looks really good, super promising, and that's exactly what we wanted. He is a top guy, so I am really happy for him. He could show the outside world a first glimpse of his quality. It is really nice, with all the attention, understandable attention, on Dominic's goal. The pass was as good, because I didn't see any space between the two players. Dom told me later, I hoped he would see me. Yes, he saw you, but then he still has to think if there is enough space for the ball between the two players. It was a top pass. The passes we missed in the past. That's the truth as well. He played so many forward balls, and that was really good. He is in a good way, and I was really happy for him to show in the second half this sign. Really, really good. Really like that from the gaffer. Um, yeah, let us know in the comments. What do you think? How convinced are you about Watoro Endo? Let us know. And whether attack will be the best form of defense at Spurs. It is that simple. It is just not that. it is that simple. Is it not that simple to execute? That's true. Yes, both teams will play football. That's good news, but it's a little bit also new news, because that's a different approach. Tottenham in recent years, it was always that you played against the best counter-attacking team in the world. It was unbelievable what they set up there. If you lost the ball, whenever the next ball will find Kane, and Kane will find Son, and then we'll end up in a one-on-one with the goalie, and it was pretty much not to defend. Now it is much more possession-based. It is much more based on own ideas, creative ideas, and stuff like this. In the analysis we saw, they have real quality, but they will have found things, whether we are not perfect, we have found things where they were not perfect. They do the analysis as well and have a full week to work on all these things. So since they played last time, I am not sure how many sessions they've had. They can create new routines for set pieces and stuff like this, can change the whole way they defend in 1 week. They can change the whole way they attack in 1 week, and that is a massive advantage. I know he is a top coach, and he enjoys what he is doing. So they will spend some time with creating difficulties for us. We recovered from the game. We have a very important session today, and then we hope we are prepared as good as well, and then we will see. Excellent. Really in-depth conversation there from the gaffer and stuff like that. So I was really impressed with that. Really enjoyed it as well, because he gave us a few little nuggets and a few little insights, which is really good. Richard's in. How are you, Richard? How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Story Noel Bud. Hope all is well. I think we will fall a bit short against you, just laying foundations with Ange. You're absolutely flying, my friend. Flying. You're doing great stuff, and you're playing really good football as well. You were kind of, I would say, a tad unlucky last week as well. You could have got the win, but even the draw was a massive result based on history and stuff like that. But fair play, yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be a really good competitive game. You're going to see two teams on show tomorrow who probably find themselves as part of that title race against Man City. I think what Ange has done has been absolutely brilliant, and we're going to take a few words from Ange now. It's not often we bring opposition managers on, but a few words from Ange, which will be interesting. And I really like this. He's just a real kind of like, there's an endearing brashness to him, if you like. Ange Postecoglou, being a Liverpool fan growing up, I had the posters up on my wall and Liverpool was my team. But you grow up and things change. I used to love Happy Days back then too, but I don't have posters of Fonzie on my wall. Love it. Love it. I do love that. I love that kind of like, it's a cool approach with him, isn't it? Really, like he's just so, I don't know, brash and direct. And the interesting thing I like about him as well is he's really good at answering media questions, and he'll absolutely slice through you if there's nonsense. So it's really, really cool from that point of view. Awesome stuff from Ange there. Uh, Well, so I suppose both teams are going in with their unbeaten Premier League streaks at the moment and stuff like that. Spurs, of course, coming away with a point from the Emirates in the 2-2 draw. And, of course, we bet Leicester during the week in the Carabao Cup on the back of also a good turnaround win against West Ham, where we kind of rode our luck a little bit, but got there in the end and looked really impressive. If you look at form at the moment, you look at Spurs in their last, 4 wins and 2 draws. The draw against Brentford kicking off the season, which wasn't great, and obviously the draw last week, which was pretty impressive. We drew against Chelsea the first day of the season. Then it's been 5 wins after that, so we find ourselves what is 2 points ahead of Spurs and 2 points off Man City, which could be 5 by the time we kick off tomorrow, because we know City are playing Wolves, aren't they? And that could be an absolute slaughterhouse. Let's see what happens there. If you look at team news at the moment, Brendan Johnson suffered a hamstring injury 60 minutes into his full debut, I should say. Maddison had suffered a gut wrench and knee jolt. We seen that as well. That looked absolutely nasty. Now, he was able to play on for a bit before being subbed. But we also know, and this is key as well, if you listen to Ange Postecoglou, he's not harping on, I would say, about injuries. And there's a good few injuries here, key players and stuff like that, He is expecting Maddison to play. I know Son, there was an issue there as well, but Son is fine to play as well. It looks like Maddison is going to be okay to play, but we have a sort of a lineup here as well that includes also Richarlison, but we know that can be kind of swapped around. But Perisic is out with a knee, Lo Celso's out with a toe, Whiteman is out with an ankle, Bentancur is out with a knee, huge player Bentancur for them. Brian Hill is out with a groin, Sessegnon is out with a hamstring. Although Brian Hill and Ryan Sessegnon have returned and are back in somewhat training, stepping up their recovery. So probably won't make tomorrow. So it will be interesting to see who he puts out there. For us, Trent Alexander-Arnold is back in training after his hamstring problem. Thiago continues his recovery. Stefan is out with a slight calf issue, and we know Conor Bradley's out as well. So you're looking at these possible starting lineups, and you look at Spurs, and we look at that on the screen. It might vary to this as well, but you're looking at Vicario, Poirot, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogi, Sarr, Basuma, Kulusevski, Maddison, and Son. Now, again, if it's not Maddison, it'll probably be Richarlison. We will look at the Spurs and see what kind of danger they can cause for us. For us, I think the team kind of looks like it picks itself at the moment. Alisson, Gomez, Matip, Van Dijk. I'm not sure whether it'll be Matip or Kanata. It'll be interesting to see. Robertson, of course, will come back into the team. Plenty of changes from the midweek as well. Dominic goes back in there into midfield along with McAllister and Jones. And I think you're going to look at Salah, Nunez, and Diaz, but you're definitely going to see Diogo Jota because he's going to cause some problems in there as well. Let's have a look at our lineup and see our thoughts on it and stuff like that. That's the kind of lineup that we're going in there. Obviously, I have Kanata in there. I think barring injury, I think he's going to start with his central pairing. I'd be surprised if he starts with Matip, although that was the talk in there. The real questions around this is, does he start with Darwin or does he start with Cody Gakpo? I think he might start with Darwin because I think he might want Darwin to go in there and ruffle the feathers of Romero a little bit. I think that's the thinking there. The other thinking is, does he stick with Joe Gomez? Is Joe Gomez going to start it right back tomorrow and maybe Trent gets introduced if needed? Or does he start with Trent? I think coming back off a hamstring injury with only 2 days of training with the team and stuff like that as well, I think Trent will probably be on the bench and we might see him for maybe a cameo 15, 20 minutes or something like that. I think it would be a mistake to start Trent. But again, let us know your lineups in the comments, folks. Let us know what you think. Let us know where the danger is. Obviously, Dominic has been unbelievable in terms of his work rate and stuff like that. Mo always loves playing against Spurs. Darwin can cause absolute havoc. Luis Diaz, Again, I'd like to see him go more around the outside tomorrow and stuff like that, flashing balls into the box and stuff like that. Don't keep on consistently cutting in from the left to the right and, showing your backside too early, basically, in terms of what you do. Ange will be all over that. We know he's meticulous in his absolute um, preparation. Daz, my lineup: Allison, Gomez, Trent, if fit, Ebu, Virgil, Robertson, Maka, Dom, Harvey, maybe, Jones. Interesting. Salah, Nunes, Diaz. Yeah, I think Salah, Nunes, Diaz. I know Cody worked really hard the other night against Leicester and stuff like that, and had a number of opportunities and things like that. And certainly he could make a case and stuff like that. And we may see him tomorrow at some stage. I think we will definitely see Jota, that's for sure. But I think the gaffer will be saying to Darwin, go out there and torture Romero a little bit, ruffle him up a little bit. We know he's kind of an emotional player, let's say, that can be got at. So let's see. Now, I'm sure Ange will be saying the same thing to Romero after looking back at Darwin, and especially last season against Palace and stuff like that with Anderson. He can be got at as well. So obviously, there's going to have to be a strong conversation between Klopp and Darwin before he goes out tomorrow. But this is the kind of lineup that you're looking at. Big shout, Daz there as well. I like that. Gomez kind of trend. Harvey's an interesting one. I wasn't sure whether you were going to put Harvey in there. Interesting one, maybe Jones. Yeah, but yeah, good show. Pretty similar. Eno's Imra's prediction. He's gone 2-0 Liverpool at full time. We would certainly take that. That is for sure. We'll give our predictions now in a few minutes. Let's look at the Spurs team. Here's the Spurs team. Richard, if you're still in the chat there, let us know in the chat what you think. Who's going to possess the danger for us and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, we've got the doggy who has looked really good since he came in, Basuma, who has a big season this season, very disappointing last season. Some of it a combination of himself. I know there was injuries and stuff like that, but also some of it just the fact that Conte ball was never going to suit Yves Basuma. Papa Sarr's in there. He's doing really, really good things. We know the strength of Kulusevski on the run. Whether it's Richarlison or Maddison, we're not too sure at the moment. Either or Maddison will be very dangerous. I think they probably need to be careful with Maddison as well, because if he has jolted the knee a little bit, it wouldn't take much to push that over the edge, and he would be a huge loss. And we've seen already, especially in the top 6 teams at the moment, some of the really, really good signings that they've made, they're the ones that are getting injured. Maddison getting injured now wouldn't be great for Spurs now whatsoever. He's arguably been their best player, and he's been absolutely on fire. And when you look at the lineup between Maddison there and obviously Dominic Szoboszlai, you're potentially looking at two guys that are in the running to probably lay down markers for be the best signings in the summer so far, based on form. So let me know. Maddison, I think, picked up a player of the month, didn't he, for August and stuff like that. So Solomon's out there as well on the left. And then you've got Son up front, and we know how dangerous Son is as well. So we're going to have to be really, really careful. Spurs at times have caught us before with these balls over the top and stuff like that. So going to need to be on it, and especially if Joey is going to invert it all into the 6 the way they've been trying it and stuff like that. Konate on that side needs to be really, really aware of what's going on there, or it could be bypassed very quickly with the counter. We're obviously going to need Mac in there as well. He's going to be the guy who's going to be that press resistance and counter attack and all that kind of stuff. So we need him doing his bits as well. Curtis also is going to be very important. I'm looking forward really to the matchup there between Poirot and Luis Diaz. Is going to be very, very interesting. And like I said, with Nunes here in the middle, going to be interesting to see how Van de Ven and Romero handle Nunes. He can be an absolute handful and a nightmare at times. So this is an intriguing match. It's a match I'm very excited about. It's one of those matches where I'm looking now where it's really going to be a proper test for Liverpool. And 2 real good footballing sides. We know how good Jurgen Klopp is as a coach. We've seen now how Ange has settled in. A lot of people questioning when he came down from Celtic that, this is not Scottish football. This is the Premier League and stuff like that. He's done an absolute outstanding job. But we just don't want him to do an outstanding job tomorrow. But he will have done his homework. Jurgen will have done his homework. Let's see what happens. It's going to be really, really intriguing. But there could be goals in this game tomorrow. No doubt about it. Ian is in. Looks all right. I'm fully confident. 2-0 Liverpool full time. Yeah, I'll take that straight away. If I'm looking at a prediction at the moment, I'm going to go with a 3-2 win for Liverpool, but plenty of goals, and Liverpool may be the shade it laid on. And you could be looking at the O goals coming in, the Ogo Jota coming in to get that winner. Let's see what happens there, but it's going to be a brilliant game. Make sure you join us tomorrow evening as well. We'll be doing the match reaction and the player ratings after the game. Looks like it's going to be absolutely sensational. A game not to miss. The 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday evening. Where else would you be except glued to your TV screens watching Tottenham and Liverpool go at it full pelt? Until next time, folks, this has been your preview. Tottenham versus Liverpool. Come on, Reds. Let's keep this run going. Let's keep it inside of City and see what we can do. Daz is in. He's gone with a big 3-0. Nice, Daz. I like that. I like that confidence coming out of the Reds in the chat tonight. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. So as always, folks, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification. Drop a like on the video. Share the content. Let's do this, Reds. You'll never walk alone.